Hello, everybody, and welcome to the OCRS playoffs. My name is Nicholas Kermalosh. Beside me, we got Dan Banner, also known as Mr. Tanners. My bad. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good, and no worries. It's definitely a tongue twister at times, but yeah, it's still a very good one. Hope you're doing well as well, and hope everybody in the chat is excited as I am, because of course, every bit of the season that we were just watching over the past couple of months here in the OCRS is getting finished tonight, one way or another. This season is completing. We're going to start things off here with our St. Clair Saints green roster versus Ryerson University A, but it should be a good one to say the least.
Yeah, this first team we got, the Saints squad, is Kamal, Raman, Nitrix. So we've seen him play very mechanically skilled, and this whole series should be depending where we go at, but this whole playoffs bracket should be pretty intense and pretty good. There's some great teams on this bracket.
There's some great teams and some awesome teams that made a bit of a last-second run. Because, of course, with the OCRS, like the Saints didn't have to worry about it. We, of course, were in either first or second in our divisions as we hear the buzzer going. So we'll be hopping into the swing of things very, very quickly. But, yeah, with both of our Saints being in the top two, we didn't have to do the play-ins. But there's a lot of other teams that are kind of hovering around the middle of their groups, to the end of their groups, that maybe weren't necessarily so fortunate, but made an absolute crazy run in the play-ins to keep themselves in this one. So teams like York University, for as long as I saw, they were like the bottom of their group. They made it work in play-ins though, so they're in these playoffs here. McGill, solid, middle of the pack squad during the season, fought through their way as well. And even teams like Humber Cobalt, Yusuf's Rocket Cars, and then of course our fellow Windsorrites there at U Windsor, they made the fight to get into the playoffs as well. So it's good to see. It's going to be a lot of awesome competition, and we have an awesome day ahead of us.
Yeah, and I mean, you said McGill Redbirds, and man, they put a big surprise. That was a huge upset against us there a couple weeks ago. So. They can do anything and they can surprise, so you have to be playing your best. All these series are a best of 5 until you do get to the upper bracket finals, and that turns into a best of 7, and that's where something else comes into play. Saints Gold versus Saints Green. If they do win all the way through, that's where they're going to meet up in the upper finals.
Yeah, at least thankfully, we're not going to see that matchup too soon. We've seen some events where it would be like the winners quarterfinals, both Saints run into each other, and it's like, shoot, one of us have to drop. And it'd be a little bit frustrating in that regard. But yeah, with this bracket, the way that it's set up is we do have the players loading into the match. So without further ado, let's get ourselves into the arena and get all comfortable and set up as we get ready to hop on into things. Yeah, we don't have to wait until, or we get to wait till rather, Saints versus Saints winners finals, which if it gets to that point, that means both of our Saints are guaranteed top 3, which is always a good problem, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a great series, and I think they can do it, but again, you can't mess up. I mean, it is best of 5, so you do have that one game to give up, preferably that first game, and then play your own game, but again, you can't mess up too many times, and should be a good series, and I'm excited for it. Been waiting all night for this.
Absolutely, and sure enough, the wait is over. The first game of the OCRS playoffs are now underway. It's going to be the Ryerson Rams versus the St. Clair Saints. Let's see what happens on here.
Yeah, early on,
Ooh.
Ryerson gets a demo early on, and Krusty puts it in the back of the net. Gives Ryerson a 1-0 lead.
Okay, coming up with a banger. It's what we like to see nonetheless. Of course, here for the Saints side of things, that is an absolute nightmare and a half, but it is still maybe a nice little wake-up call here for the Saints. I know we're basically 8 hours earlier than what we're used to playing here in terms of competition, but at the same time, both of these teams have been in constant tournaments pretty much throughout the entire summer, so this shouldn't be too much of a shock to the system, as we see Willie Mandam there for the side of Ryerson looking to try and make the play, but he's going to go a little bit too far to make something happen this time.
Yeah, Saints trying to get something. Ryerson almost had another chance there a little bit earlier, but again, Saints are trying to do something as that's Krusty again getting a shot towards the net, but I believe that was Kamal who kicks it away. And I mean, again, it's the first game, so maybe the teams are a bit nervous, don't know each other's play style yet. So going in later on. I mean, like I said earlier, game one, that's the game you preferably want to lose. If you do lose any, that's a huge demo coming from Ramen. And if you lose one, it's game one, because then you do have a little bit, you know how they play, and you can change your game style.
But at least with that goal happening so quickly, there's still plenty of opportunities here for the Saints to make their way back into this game. Like, we just passed the first minute mark in this one. It was just so crazy how quickly Ryerson found themselves on the board. And they're going to find themselves on the board again. Willie Mandem going to find himself his first goal of the series as he gets his own rebound off the crossbar.
That's just a perfect pass by Krusty, and then the follow-through shot from Mandem, Willie Mandem. It's just, that's perfect. Ryerson up 2-0, and Saints definitely need to change something. Maybe at least score one goal. You probably want to score that within the next minute. Give yourself a little bit more time, as Ryerson's offensive pressure has been really good when they do get the ball. So Saints not really having any chances quite yet, but doesn't mean that they will not. They still got 3.5 minutes left.
I mean, with Ryerson scoring so quick, I definitely take that like akin to, like, if you're getting ready to like have a boxing match with somebody or something like that, and right off the back the bell rings and you just get low blowed. Like, it's a bit of a kick to the momentum, to say the least, and now you have to fight back from a little bit of an ego shocker, to say the least here. So 3 minutes still on the clock, over halfway, or half of the game still to be played here. Saints do have themselves an offensive opportunity, but really could not line things up the way they were initially looking for it. Bang looking for it. That's going to be Krusty, but not going to happen. Ramen bringing it into the offensive zone. That's going to be Willie up in the skies to stop any sort of initial play. And it just kind of stuck in the corner here. Ryerson, while in their own zone, have been able to avoid any sort of major scoring opportunities for the Saints.
Yeah, every time Saints get some sort of an opportunity, Ryerson's there to kick it away and make sure that doesn't happen, and Willie Mandem puts it away, gives Ryerson a 3-0 lead.
Okay, Ryerson definitely showing up to play here, and Willie is going to find himself his second goal of the game already, and putting this into a very rough predicament here for the Saints, of course. Not impossible, but it's starting to get onto the point of improbable the way this one is kind of showing up to be here. Saints just have not been able to make these passing plays that we know them for, like, really stick, and it's a little bit unfortunate, to say the least here. Like, we always like to talk about their bread and butter, their backboard to themselves kind of plays, or backboard pass to the player. We'll have to see if they can finally find it, and sure enough, may not be the backboard necessarily, but Nitrix is going to find this one off the pass from Ramen, just right along the corner, and it's going to drop right in the perfect spot. Nice try there from Krusty. He had the right idea, but unfortunately could not get a tire on it, and Nitrix are going to put the Saints within 2.
Yeah, that's what you need. Maybe this goal will switch something for the Saints, and try to get something else going. And I mean, again, that was just fortunate for them that Krusty did miss that save, and gives an opportunity for Saints to bring within 2, and they just haven't quite been there rotationally, and mechanically it doesn't seem like. I don't know if a little bit of rust or whatnot, and I mean, we'll see as the game moves on, as there's a minute 30 left. They need to score 2 goals in that amount of time, so definitely difficult, but again, not impossible, as that's going to be a shot on goal, and Bang is going to put it back to a 3-goal lead.
And Bang, absolutely right, exactly where it needs to be. Krusty, in the collision there with Kamal, was able to just kind of pop fly it into the center field, and we see Bang finishes the job off. Solid shot, almost 100 kilometers an hour on that one, right into the back of the net. Saints nearly got a piece of it, but unfortunately could not quite find it. So once again, down 3, about minute 20 left to go, and it looks like Ryerson is not letting up. Kamal, though, with a huge save to at least keep this one within extended reach, to say the least here. Bang looking for the shot. Ramen, though, going to stop this off. Let's see if the Saints get themselves back on the board here.
Yeah, Saints definitely need something, as that's a shot on goal, and Kamal's there to make a save again. William Mandem, and that's another shot. Nitrix is there to make another save. Ryerson Rams have been putting on the pressure with a few clutch saves. They need 3 goals in a minute, or 50 seconds now, and it doesn't look good for the Saints.
Stuck in the corner once again. Nitrix off the backboard, but Krusty's not going to let the Saints get that kind of setup that they're always looking for. So Ramen going to intercept in midfield, actually. He's winning his 50-50s as of this moment. Does have it in the corner. Willie is going to shut that down finally, though. Kamal is a pretty solid center, but it was a little bit too quick for the Saints to really react to. Nitrix going to try and brute force it. Barely going to be missing that one. Maul centers it once again, but there's always, it feels like that last person, that last striker, it seems to always be missing here for the Saints. And this is another open net opportunity. Slow bouncer towards the Saints net with 15 seconds to go. Ryerson just have to hang on a little bit longer, and they take game one.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't a big, I mean, it's a 3-goal loss so far, and I mean, it sucks if you're the Saints, but again, Ryerson was looking so good on defense, making sure that Saints do not get any opportunities and beating Saints almost every time to the ball. And I mean, that's what won them this game. The commitment from Ryerson has just been unbelievable.
Yeah, and then we're going to take a look at the shot counter here as well. Like, the Saints were limited to 3 that entire game. Meanwhile, like, Krusty has 3 on this side of Ryerson. Everybody else was just absolutely on fire there for Ryerson in general. So absolutely crazy stuff coming out from them. Saints definitely have to get back to the drawing board as fast as possible here.
Yeah, and I mean, you said you want to take a look at the shot clock there. Or, yeah, the shots. And Ryerson outshot him 12-3. That's just absolutely insane. And, I mean, normally Saints are on that side of just hammering shots on net. And, you know, if this is how Ryerson's going to play, you have to make sure that you get quality shots, even if they are minimum, and you have to make sure you put them in the back of the net. And I mean, Saints last game, they didn't look like they were there. They didn't look like how they normally are, flying in the air all the time. And they seemed to keep it to the ground a lot and just couldn't do anything with it. So they do need to change up a few things with getting in the air and their rotations. Other than that, I think they can pull out a win here in game number 2.
Absolutely, and we've seen throughout the OCRS season here, for this goes towards both of our Saints squads, but I know Green especially, whenever the Saints squad feel like they're in an opportunity where they just aren't the ones ever like getting into, like, getting a lot of those passing plays off, getting those shots off, they seem to kind of struggle when they're just stuck like playing defensively. It seems like there's just way more opportunities for them to kind of have the armor crack, and it just unfortunately doesn't usually lead to victory in those situations here, but it looks like they're going to try and turn this around. They do have this in the Ryerson zone, just looking for a bit of a finisher here. Maul up to the skies. We know he could dance around in the skies with it, but can he find the pass? Not going to find the angle he was looking for. However, in this case, Nitrix does have it. He does win his one initial battle. Tries to pop fly in this crease. Ramen shot goes wide. Kamal rebounds off the crossbar. Huge break there for Ryerson.
Yeah, and there's one thing. I mean, that was a huge break for Ryerson. The Saints probably did need that 1-0 lead, but it just, like I said earlier, the rotations doesn't seem to be there. When they get the rebound out front, nobody's there. You can't see anybody in the field, so I don't know if just bad rotations, bad communications, I'm not sure. So, but again, they have had their opportunities already. They had 2 of them so far, and again, they just need to put it in the back of the net, and something will change.
It just seems like their speed just seems a little bit off compared to what we've seen in the regular season. I don't know if they need to take the restrictor plates off or what, because they just don't seem to be running free here like we usually see during the regular season. They seem more, I don't want to say calculated, but they seem more cautious. Just they're not necessarily charging at it with the same oomph that we've seen over and over again here, as we are going to see Ryerson bring it right back into the Saints zone. Good little dodge for Ramen. He may have had to get his card demoed for it, but it's okay. Does manage to make the save nonetheless. Kamal dodges one, looks for one more, but not quite going to get it. Ramen going to keep it in at least.
Oh, that's a big 50-50 there from Ramen to keep the pressure on, and Ryerson's going to try and do something here, and again, there's some misses from Saints. As I say that, Nitrix is going to put it away and give Saints a 1-0 lead.
That's what we'd like to see here. Willie had the opportunity to get a redirect towards the side, but it actually went to the wrong side. So Nitrix is going to absolutely capitalize on that. He basically teed it up for him right on the outside of the crease. The no-go zone indeed, and he just lights it up, giving the Saints their lead, and finally maybe cracking the rust, maybe cracking that restrictor plate to finally let them go free.
Oh man, he got that flick and the rebound, and bang, puts it away to tie this game. That was absolutely nasty from Krusty to get that nasty flick, and then it's all from there.
Yeah, absolutely no shade to Ryerson. That was actually, I did not give that goal as much credit as I definitely should have. The beautiful pop up there to get it to Willie. Willie off the backboard, and then bang, finishes it off right as he needs to, and a huge answer back. Whatever Saints momentum were or was initially after getting that lead, has definitely been squandered at this point, and is kind of showing here because Krusty is going to get another one on the board and give Ryerson the lead now.
Yeah, I don't know who that was that got the goalie bump, but I believe that was not Krusty. That was
Bang, maybe?
Bang. I think that was Bang that got the goalie push and I mean opened up the net too wide open, and Ryerson takes a one goal lead, and I mean they are looking good. And Saints definitely need to change something. They definitely don't want to lose this game.
Yeah, going down 2 would be absolutely devastating here for the Saints. You don't want to start off your tournament having to reverse sweep. And it seems to be that way as of right now. Nice little soft pass over to Willie, but it is going to be blocked there by Nitrix. In the skies, but no boost. Kamal is there, but it redirects towards the crossbar. Ramen, one more shot. Nitrix does have the boost now, but he can only kind of get a pretty sharp angle to even just get it to the wall. Kamal off the backboard. Where is the finisher in all this? Not going to be there. Bang, going to push this over to the side. And now Ramen does eventually find himself the shot, but Willie was already ready and waiting for it. A minute left to go. Saints need to get this and get this quick. And they do find themselves a shot off the not the crossbar, off the post. And it is absolute heartbreaker here for the Saints as they might be going down 2-0.
Yeah, that was their best opportunity to tie this game, and unfortunate it hit off the post and nobody else was there. And they're gonna try and get something here. You have 40 seconds left to score 1 goal. You definitely want to put up the pressure here. You have 30 seconds left to do something, and Ryerson's just controlling the ball in your end. You definitely need to do something here. And again, they just can't seem to get to any of the balls that Ryerson gets to first. So that's huge, and maybe they have their opportunity here as Nitrix gets a deflecting big save by the Saints, by Ryerson, but that doesn't matter. Ramen puts it away to tie this game with 15 seconds left.
Absolutely clutch there for Nitrix and Ramen to get that one in there. 15 seconds left on the clock. Oh dear. They really like to play at our heartstrings, don't they? And now we get to see possibly a reverse overtime if nothing happens within the next 10 seconds. Saints are going to try one more opportunity. That's a centering pass inadvertently, but Nitrix was all alone. He could not find the move necessary in the crease. Bang and the rest of Ryerson. One final opportunity. Kamal is going to push us aside, however, and it probably will drop. First overtime of the playoffs, and it's going to be Ryerson and St. Clair. Here we go.
Man, this is insane as Kamal almost gets the little flick here, and that's going to be another center but by Nitrix. But again, Saints are starting to come alive. They're starting to look a little bit better, and you know, like I said, maybe that goal later on in the game turn something up, as that's going to be a center, but Nitrix keeping that off to the corner, and Kamal's trying to do what he does best to try to get a flip reset and get it out.
Big demo in the center, and bang, holy smokes, what a way to finish things off here. Only 30 seconds into this overtime, finds the pass from Willie. He's way off to the far side, gets his own pass, and bang, absolutely causing some damage here to the hearts of the Saints fans, as now Saints need a reverse sweep.
That is huge for Ryerson Rams to take a 2-0 lead early on in this game. We're going into game 3. Saints need to change something. We've seen it before. We've seen it last week. Reverse sweeps. Saints can do it, but it's definitely going to be very difficult. And the way Ryerson's playing, I'm not sure, but it would be interesting. It all starts off with 1 win, and it's this one. Let's see how they play.
The fight was there. It just could not quite get the job finished off here. And now Saints in the toughest position ever. And considering this is for the playoffs, this is for the ending. Of course, with there being a lower bracket, that is one way to do it. However, that is a grind and a half. You don't want to be falling into the lower bracket this early in the event. But right now, Ryerson definitely threatening that there on this St. Clair roster.
The demos from Ryerson have been extremely clutch, as it did win them last game, and I mean, just now is going to get them opportunity. Wow. And Krusty's going to put that away, and Ryerson's up by 1, 25 seconds in.
And that looks pretty harmless initially. Bang just kind of popped it back, looking like it was a clearing attempt that didn't necessarily go well for the Saints. And then, like, pull shot, Krusty just going to bank it off the post and bring it on in. And now Ryerson back in control once again. Saints definitely struggling in this matchup as of right now. And they still have all game to try and make something happen. But again, we've seen this so far in this series that Ryerson have just been so good at putting on pressure. And then what we see here there with Willie, that even on the defensive side of things, you think you have the save? No, he's just going to hip check you with his like quarter panel or something. Do a little pit maneuver. It just make sure that you can't make the saves necessary or just straight out demo you. So the solid plays on the side of Ryerson, and again, Kamal was looking for that pass, but Willie already demoed the person who would have had this, who would have been the pass recipient.
Yeah, like I said, their demos have been super clutch, because I think that shot, that pass would have been would have tied this game up at 1 apiece. And I mean, Saints just don't look like that what they've been playing like all season in all of the other leagues. So seeing them play like this as just an opportunity, not gonna be there. They are having a rough go. Kamal's last one back, gets demoed, but does clear the ball out a little bit. And Ryerson keeping the pressure on as Krusty's gonna have a shot here, but big save by Kamal, and that's going to drop in front. Nobody wants to commit to that. That's going to be a shot on net, and Willie Mandem is going to put that away. Give Ryerson a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, Bang going to set things up here. Just a pop fly in the crease, and nobody there from the Saints. Even though there was the two players back in net, they're kind of stuck in a bit of an awkward angle. Could not really use the ramp of the net to really get themselves back there in time. And just sets it up there for Willie to not only make a difference in regards to being the absolute enforcer here on this Ryerson squad, but finding himself on the scoreboard as well. And just really putting a hurt here onto the Saints. 3 minutes left to go. Still plenty of time. We see Nitrix trying to bring it in himself from the skies. Not going to happen, though. Bang was completely on top of that. Kamal right back at home there, up into the skies once again. Tries a slow backboard bounce, but Krusty is there to meet Nitrix, so the pass doesn't quite necessarily get the kind of impact that he was looking for. Willie, again, Ramen was setting up the pass, but Willie is right there slamming his hood into your fenders and into your spoilers, just making things completely irritable for the side of the Saints. Like, this does not feel good, to say the least, when you have the play in mind, and there's always somebody, especially Willie in this situation, who's just constantly pushing you around and just making you miss by just a few millimeters.
Yeah, a few millimeters can change the shot dramatically, and it's just something. And like we seen earlier, I believe that was Ramen just waiting for the ball to come down, which isn't normally them. Normally they force it, and they just don't look like they're forcing anything. And unfortunately, they're playing more defensive than they normally do, which I think that's why Ryerson has all this momentum, all this pressure, and scoring these goals. So they do look good, and I mean, it doesn't look good for Saints. I honestly think this is going to be a sweep for Ryerson, as that goes barred down and trying to get something going. Another shot on net, but it's just wide, and Saints might have an opportunity here to do something.
Yeah, we do have an opportunity there. Nitrix shot on target by Krusty right there to make the save. Ramen still does have this in the Ryerson zone, though. No boost to speak of, but he's going to try and make something happen off the backboard. Kamal, a little bit slow on that. Maybe thought that Ramen was going to try and take it. A little bit of miscommunication, just completely tosses that opportunity aside. And now, like, Saints, with just over a minute left, they need to find two to manage to get themselves into this overtime. And I feel like that's very tough to do when they've been playing not to lose rather than winning since the first goal of this series. And Willie Mandem with his second goal of game number 3 might be putting the nail in the coffin here, as Ryerson are now up 3.
Oh yeah, I do honestly believe that that's a nail in the coffin. Ryerson Rams playing tremendous. They are playing out of their minds from what I remember, a lot better than last time we casted them. And I mean, it's good when it comes playoff time and you're doing this. I don't know if it's Saints having a lot of pressure on them because it is the playoffs, and it is, it's all in one day. So I don't know if that's a lot of stress on them or whatnot, but they do need to change a lot of things actually going into the lower bracket.
Yeah, and just even there, Kamal does manage to make the save, but Bang was right there. 35 seconds left to go to score 3. It does not seem like the fight is there for the Saints this time by, and if it stays this way, they are going to have to take the long run here to find themselves into the later portions of this bracket. Nitroc's going to make something happen, though. He tries to drop it down the Ramen. A good shot attempt, and Ramen does take the shot, manages to find Krusty as well. So this next offensive opportunity here from Ryerson is going to be a little bit slower, but they're not necessarily the ones who need the offensive opportunity, to say the least, as the time's ticking down, 10 seconds left on the clock. Counting it down, and Ryerson are going to finish off Game 3, complete themselves the 3-0 sweep, as well as completely shutting out the St. Clair Saints green roster here in a very fantastic performance on their own regard. So big props to Ryerson. That was an absolute clinic from them, to say the least.
Oh yeah, they played great offensively and defensively, have been unbelievable. And the rotations from Ryerson, absolutely unbelievable. They're always there. They're always their speed there this game has been amazing, and beating Saints almost every ball is just that's what you do to win games. And they won this. They took this series in a 3-0 sweep fashion. So you can't be mad for Ryerson. They played absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, and then I'm trying to even think of, like, looking at the standings from the regular season, because anytime I thought of Ryerson, even though it was the A roster, I always found them kind of like a middle-of-the-pack team. That did not look like a middle-of-the-pack team, to say the least there. So I don't know if it's just getting closer to the school year. Now it's at the end of the summer. Everyone's had so much time to, like, synergize with each other that they were just on another level, or what, but they just looked so good. And meanwhile, therefore, the St. Clair roster, unfortunately, kind of a bit of a slow start here. I guess the restrictor plates were on after all, to say the least there. So kind of a rough start. I'm going to quickly take a look at the bracket and see where this might actually end us up here.
Well, are we switch Brock Esport versus Saints Gold? Your Saints did beat Humber Cobalt 3-0, and they move on to the next round, and here we go. We got the bracket right here, as you can see in the bottom of the best of 5 second round. You have Brock Esports A and Saints Gold in category L. So that's good to see there. And the Saints Green squad is just waiting on the loser from Durham Lords and York University.
Okay, so in theory, that should be York, but again, at the same time, York has been on something over this last 2 weekends or so. And then one thing I also want to mention here, one of the main thorns in the side of the Saints were the PD golfers. So that's from the University of Waterloo. They didn't show up. They forfeited in the first round, dropping down. Yeah, they're just straight up not showing up this event. So that, like, in terms of like the later portions of this event, that is a huge thorn for the Saints, just completely gone. But at the same time, that's still way down the line where that might very well take effect here. And we're going to look at our next matchup. That'll be happening at 12:45. We're going to hop on in with the St. Clair Saints Gold roster, as I believe that is a battle from the same group where it was the St. Clair Saints Gold versus Brock Esports A. We were able to beat them last time, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be the similar situation this time by. And then we're going to obviously be keeping tabs on Green as well. We'll probably hop in with them a little bit later on down the road as well, especially if they get the lower bracket run they need to get themselves into the top positions. So nonetheless, I know personally might have been a little bit hard on the Green roster today, but at the end of the day, that was a very tough match, and I want to see them regain, as they were saying in the chat, come back and come swinging for the rest of this weekend.
Yeah, and we did beat, your Gold squad did beat Brock University 3-1 series, so this again could be another close matchup, and again, I'm excited for it. Should be great.
Yeah, and then I like this tournament format for the OCRS because they actually do give us starting times, not like just, okay, we're just going to jump into this right now. Are you ready? No? Okay, we're going anyway. But no. So 12:45 is a start match, or the match start time for both the Green and the Gold roster. And we will be hopping in with Gold for this time next by. Looks like I'm already getting an invite to the party. So we will be a couple moments here before we get into the next matchup, but it might start early, just as I was saying that might not be the case. But we will see. Any final thoughts here for the Ryerson and the Saints Green matchup?
You know what? if this Gold Squad continues to win and be dominant, I honestly think we'll see Ryerson Rams in the upper finals. So that should be a great matchup.
I hear the buzzer. I'm kind of nervous that we're just going to get started on here. So I'm going to quickly throw this to a break so I can get a little bit of an emergency setup just in case we do end up going live right here, right now. You'll get the update from us very shortly and the Twitch chat. But first off, thank you to everybody for tuning in. Big props, of course, to Ryerson on their victory. And we will be back sooner than later because they're about to get into it in just a few minutes. Speedrunning, stream setup, go.